Don't let the great be the enemy of the good. One of the deadliest long-term mistakes that you can make is always focusing on the best process, even when the subject is not your core competency. So people will want the best diet plan, the best exercise, the best meditation style. Everything is either the best or the most optimal, or they don't do it at all. For example, if you take a meditation habit, many people will start with 15 minutes a day, which is a good goal. But what happens is that they will practice 15 minutes a day, and then once the novelty and the initial motivation dies down, there'll be a day where they're too tired and they don't feel like doing 15 minutes. So they'll say, okay, I will not meditate today because I'm too busy. I'll do it tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, most of them lack the discipline again, or they're again tired and they feel that, okay, another day doesn't matter, I'll do it tomorrow again. And they keep putting it off by a day, and then there comes a time where they realize that they haven't meditated in weeks and months. The problem that happened was that this guy wanted all or nothing, so he would either meditate for 15 minutes or he wouldn't do it at all. They didn't even spend 1 minute meditating on the days that they were too busy or too tired, which they could have done. No one is too tired to meditate for 1 minute. And that's the fundamental problem of letting the great be the enemy of the good. Like, it's great to meditate for 15 minutes a day, and it's good to meditate for 1 minute a day. Most people will only opt for the great, and if the great can't be done or they don't want to do it, they will just skip it altogether. They will not even take the good thing. In their minds, it's 1 minute is just not good enough. It either has to be 15 minutes of meditation or no meditation that day. And this happens everywhere. People will want to start a reading habit, so they will start with 1 hour per day, which is a good target. And then life happens and they don't have an whole hour to spare. They're just busy. So they will skip reading for that day, and the next day, and the day after that. And in a few days, their newfound habit is just lost. So what they instead could have done is, on the day they did not have a full hour to read, they could have just read for 10 minutes that day or read only 1 page, just to maintain that habit of reading. The system would have survived if they did that. And that system matters because it's the only way to keep good habits alive. Anything that you neglect will slowly waste away. Your brain will just prune away the neural networks that it doesn't use. So sporadic action doesn't really count for much. Compound interest is the way to bring good gains in your habits, and for that to work, you have to stay consistent. So don't overthink things like this, especially if you are a beginner. If you have only 10 minutes, then do 10 minutes. If you have a full hour, do the full hour. And the same thing applies to learning. If you want to learn how to swim, you don't need the great thing. You don't need an Olympic-sized pool and a high-end trainer to teach you how to swim. If you want to go to the gym, you don't need a high-end trainer and a gym with all the machines to start working out. You can have an average trainer or a medium-sized pool or just the basic equipments like barbells and dumbbells, and you can use them to get good enough exercise, good enough swimming lessons. And you can use it until you get decent enough. And of course, there will come a point where not having the right coach, not having the right equipment, not being in the right place will be a bottleneck for you. But until that time comes, you should do what you can with what you have. Only the pros get to sweat small things like this because they have a much smaller scope of error. Most people are far better off doing something rather than doing nothing. You can get quite a bit of results out of any activity, even if everything wasn't perfect. So don't stop just because the best wasn't available to you or you were too tired, bored, or demotivated to give your 100%. Do what you can, even if it's just a small time each day or each week. And even if it's like 30% of your maximum potential. And even if you have to use bad equipment from time to time. Compound interest will average it out over time and your consistency will pay off. You will get something. So don't be the guy who didn't learn a martial art because he only had 2 hours a week to practice and he thought he couldn't become the best fighter in the world with just 2 hours a week. Well, you can't, but you can become a reasonably good fighter if you train 2 hours a week for a long enough time. So do what you can with what you have. You can keep waiting at home, hoping for the perfect circumstances and resources to show up. Or you could start now with whatever resources you have and see the results that you can get. See, at the end of the day, one option will take you further and the other will just have you stagnate. There's this very cute quote that I like, and it says, "Don't feel bad about the results that you did not get for the work that you did not do." And it's very true. And while you're at it, remember that it's much easier to dial it from 10 to 100 than to dial it from 0 to 10. So momentum is everything. Objects in motion will stay in motion, people in motion will stay in motion. A bad workout is far superior to no workout. And not every day will be perfect. But there should not be a single day which you can say it's a null day where you didn't do anything and just sat at home and did nothing. Never let yourself come to a complete halt. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below.